Hello and welcome back to Lois and Morgana Davidson Art. It's Lois here, and today I'm going to be sharing with you how I painted this storm with lightning bolts over a sort of wide expansive grassland area. But just before I get into the demo, don't forget that my book, Landscapes in Watercolour Techniques and Tutorials for the Complete Beginner, is available to purchase from all good bookstores. And also, Morgana and my new book on flower painting is due out very soon. If you're interested in that, check out the links below. Now back to today's demo. If you're interested in learning in more detail the technique that I used to apply the masking fluid for this bolt of lightning, then check out my Patreon. There's also a link in the description below, and there you'll find exclusive content and advert-free versions of these demos. As you can see, I've sketched out a very simple scene on my watercolour paper. A very, very narrow strip of land at the bottom because, of course, this painting is all about the sky. My lightning bolt drops down across off-centre on the right side of the painting, and I'm hoping that this will be a really effective composition so that when I put my sky in, the lightning bolt will really stand out. So it's really important for me to have a nice dark sky, but not a night sky. This is a daytime scene. So I'm going to wet the page all over with my large wash brush. I'm using a Princeton Aqua Elite 1.5 inch modeler brush. I'm using Canson Moulin de Roy cold press watercolour paper, which is taped to my board, and my board's at an angle of about 20 degrees. I'm wetting the page all the way down to the horizon line. I'm not wetting the land. I'm going to be painting that later. I'm just painting the sky to start with. This is very light value raw sienna to put a bit of a glow into the sky. And then I shall use mid to light value cerulean blue to add a little bit of fading blue sky that's being chased away by the storm clouds. I don't want too much, just a hint of it in the left-hand corner over the horizon. Now for the storm clouds, and I've mixed up really thick creamy paint from Payne's Grey and Sepia. And as you can see, I'm creating these really dark storm clouds over the glow of raw sienna that I put down first. I'm making sure that I go across over my lightning bolt with the dark colours so it'll show out and contrast really nicely. A clean damp brush lifts out paint where I want it, and then I can use lighter value grey to put in clouds lower down the sky and keep working like this until I'm happy with the way my sky looks. I've stood back and I'm quite happy with the way the sky looks, so I've laid my board flat on my desk. This will stop the washes running down anymore. They'll dry where I put them, hopefully. Now I need to leave it alone, step back and let the sky dry completely. If I fiddle with it now, I could make really nasty marks or make it muddy. So it's really important to know when to stop. So here's the dry painting. It's a little bit washed out looking at the moment because the sun's coming in briefly through my windows at the moment. And now that it's dry, I'm going to use the wet on dry technique to start to paint in the background. I want to keep my background features really small and narrow so that it gives me a good sense of depth and distance. This is my size 2 quill brush, and I've mixed up some sap green with a little bit of cerulean blue and a dab of indigo in it. And I'm just putting a very narrow band of this to represent the trees on the horizon line in the distance. And once I've got in this far distance, then I shall paint some dry brush with raw umber and a touch of raw sienna across the foreground, add a bit of texture to that and just continue working on the foreground a bit more. I waited for the distant marks that I painted to dry before putting in this little sliver of middle distance here using raw sienna and raw umber. Because I didn't want those colours to run. I wanted a sense of separation, which helps me to give this sense of depth and distance and vast amount of space on this beautiful flat landscape. And now I'm going to just glaze a very light value wash of raw sienna across the field, letting the dry brush show through and then adding in a few sort of touches of dark here and there just to indicate this sort of stubble field or grasslands in the foreground. Darkening up, dipping the tips of my brush into my sepia and indigo. Darkening up the foreground, just straightening things up, making a few sort of finishing touches here and there, whatever I think it needs. Maybe some sort of vertical brush strokes using the tips of the fan brush across the tape just to suggest the grasses in the foreground. And now I think I'm just about finished, so I'm going to use my adhesive eraser or rubber cement pickup to rub off my masking fluid, and hopefully the lightning bolt will stand out nicely against the stormy sky. You can use a clean finger to rub masking fluid off, but we find these tools, rubber cement pickups, incredibly helpful. You can buy them from art stores, but they're quite expensive. If you look for adhesive erasers in decorators' stores, you can buy them very, very cheaply. You can see how easily the masking fluid is coming away. And I think my lightning bolt's looking quite effective. It's a little bit thick, but I need to practice with my masking fluid application. But I'm really, really pleased with the way it contrasts against that stormy sky. It's a very sort of dramatic effect, especially with the depth and distance that I've been able to create on the landscape itself. And of course, removing the masking tape always makes the painting look far more finished. It helps you to see it with fresh eyes, and I'm really pleased with the way this looks. If you're interested in seeing how I applied the masking fluid in this case, then don't forget to hop over to Patreon. The link is in the description below. Thank you to everybody that supports the channel on Patreon. I really do appreciate you, and I'll see you again soon. Take care and happy painting. Bye.